Welcome to Chapter 3, Navigation and Layout Controls. The navigation and layout controls that will be covered in this chapter include the XAM ribbon, XAM Outlook bar, XAM Dock Manager, and XAM Tab Control. This chapter includes 3 labs, which are XAM ribbon, XAM Outlook bar, and XAM Dock Manager. For the XAM ribbon control, we'll cover what the XAM ribbon and XAM window can solve in relation to user interfaces, the components of the XAM ribbon control, and managing the XAM ribbon. Microsoft introduced the ribbon interface with Office 2007. This interface solves the problem of the overcomplexity of using hierarchical menus for presenting all the functionality of a large application. The ribbon interface places sections of functionality into tabs. Each tab contains ribbons which further break down the functionality into logical pieces. An application button or menu mimics the Windows Start menu functionality for placing application-specific functions. And lastly, a quick access toolbar allows the users to customize their own toolbar. In order to make the XAM ribbon control available to users, it must follow Microsoft guidelines in licensing. To use it in your applications, you must agree to that license. The various objects which make up the various pieces of the ribbon interface include the ribbon window, the application menu, the quick access toolbar, ribbon tabs and contextual tabs, ribbon groups, ribbon group layout panels, ribbon tools, the gallery, screen tips, and key tips. The XAM ribbon window is derived from the WPF window class. What it does is embed the XAM ribbon into the title bar. The application menu button crosses the client and non-client area boundary. The quick access toolbar and menu and contextual tab ribbons are included in the title bar of the window. The window also includes a built-in status bar. The ribbon application menu provides a central location for primary application commands, supports hierarchical menus, and includes a footer toolbar for specialized commands such as options and the exit command. The application menu supports a recent documents list presenting a list of buttons ideal for launching recent documents or often used files. The ribbon paradigm introduces key tips for keyboard shortcuts navigation. Holding the Alt key down displays a tooltip with the shortcut key or keys associated with the tool, menu, or ribbon interface. Ribbon tools are distributed among tabs and groups. Tabs allow functionality to be organized under a header topic name. In this example, there are 2 tabbed ribbons, Format and Insert. Contextual tabs can appear when the user sets focus on a specific object in the user interface. Typically, the contextual ribbon will contain tools specific to the focused interface object. Each tab group contains a list of ribbon groups. Ribbon groups section tools into subcategories. Each ribbon group contains a collection of ribbon tools and/or WPF elements. Ribbon tools are theme-savvy and are styled to fit the ribbon's look and feel. A ribbon group may contain a dialog launcher button, allowing a dialog window to be launched, which usually contains more specific options related to the ribbon group's tools. The screenshot here demonstrates a XAM ribbon screen tip displaying when the mouse is over the dialog launcher button. The quick access toolbar displays a list of tools and ribbon groups in the toolbar, allowing quick access to commonly used tools. This toolbar is customizable by the user, but it can be programmatically preset if desired. The user can add tools or ribbon groups to the quick access toolbar by right-clicking on a tool or group in the ribbon and selecting the option to add the item. The quick access toolbar can be moved below the ribbon tabbed area and also contains an option for minimizing the entire ribbon interface. The XAML shown here demonstrates the use of WPF modularization by factoring out the application menu. Main application menu is a custom class derived from the ribbon assembly's application menu class. In this snippet, the main application menu object is referenced and assigned to the XAM ribbon application menu property. And at this point, it's time for the first lab of the chapter, which covers the XAM ribbon control. Welcome to the XAM ribbon lab. In this lab, we'll add a XAM ribbon control to the NAWPF lab project. The menus and buttons we add to the XAM ribbon will have functionality added to them in later labs. This video is for Task 1 of Exercise 1, and in this task we're going to configure the window and add the XAM ribbon control to it. We'll start this task in Visual Studio, and in the Solution Explorer window, we'll double-click Window1.xaml to open it. In the XAML view of Window1.xaml, The first thing we're going to do is add a declaration for the ribbon XML namespace to the window element and name it IG ribbon. Next, we're going to change the window object to a XAM ribbon window object. Then we're going to set the height and width of the XAM ribbon window to 768 by 1024. Let's move to the code behind file of window1.xaml and then add the Infragistics Windows ribbon namespace to the top of the file. Then we're going to change the window1 class to inherit from XAM ribbon window instead of window. Let's switch back to the XAML view of window1.xaml, and we're going to replace the grid element with a ribbon window content host element. Next, we'll set the ribbon property of the ribbon window content host to a XAM ribbon control. Then we'll select the XAM ribbon control, and in the properties window, we're going to set its name to XAM ribbon 1 and its theme to Office 2K7 Blue. At this point, the design view of window1.xaml should have an empty ribbon control in it. And this completes task 1. Welcome to task 2 of exercise 1. In this task, we're going to add the Infragistics tab and its content to the XAM ribbon control. Starting in the window1.xaml file, we're going to select XAM ribbon 1. Then in the properties window, click the ellipsis button next to the tabs collection property. In the collection editor dialog window, click the add button to add a ribbon tab item object to the collection. Then we'll select the ribbon tab item, and in the properties list, we'll set its header property to Infragistics. Moving down the properties list, click the ellipsis button next to the ribbon groups collection property. In the new collection editor dialog window, click the add button to add a ribbon group object to the collection. Select the new ribbon group entry, and in the properties list, set its caption to Infragistics products. And then moving down the properties list, click the ellipsis button next to the items collection property. This will open a third dialog window. In the new dialog window, we'll select the menu tool, and then we're going to click the add button to add a menu tool object. Next, select the menu tool entry, and we'll set its ID to IG product menu, and set its should display gallery preview property to true. Moving down the properties list again, click the ellipsis button next to the items collection property. This will open another dialog window. In the new dialog window, select the gallery tool from the drop-down list and click the add button to add a new gallery tool object. Select the gallery tool and set its caption property to products, set its ID to IG product gallery, set item behavior to state button, and set max preview columns to 2. Then we can click the OK button on every dialog window until they're all closed. And we should have an empty Infragistics product group in our XAM ribbon window and an Infragistics tab. In the XAML view of window1.xaml, in the ribbon group element, we're going to add an image control with its source set to images/iglogo.png, width set to 161, height set to 52, vertical alignment set to center, and margin set to 5, 0. Next, we're going to add 10 gallery item objects to the gallery tool. For the first one, we'll set key to net, and we'll set image to images/ignet.png. For the next one, we'll use WinForms and the IG WinForms PNG. Then we'll use ASP and the IG ASP PNG, WPF along with IG WPF PNG, Silverlight along with IG Silverlight.png, JSF along with IG JSF.png, TestWin along with IG TestWin.png, AppStylist along with IG AppStylist.png, Training along with IG Training.png, and lastly Consulting along with IG Consulting.png. Once that's completed, we can set the tooltip property of the ribbon group element to a new XAMRibbon screen tip object, and set its header to Products, set its footer to Infragistics product line, set footer separator visibility to Visible, set contents image to images/about.png, and set content to each icon represents a product or service provided by Infragistics. Then we can run the project. And you should be able to scroll through the Infragistics products, and hovering over the icon should present the tooltip. If you click the drop-down button, you should have 10 images corresponding to the various Infragistics products. And this completes task 2. Welcome to task 3 of exercise 1, and in this task we'll add the Edit tab and its content to the XAMRibbon control. We're going to start in window1.xaml, and we're going to select XAMRibbon 1. In the Properties window, we're going to click the ellipsis button next to the Tabs Collection property. In the Collection Editor dialog window, click the Add button to add a second ribbon tab item to the collection. Next, we're going to set its header property to Edit. Then further down the Properties list, we'll click the ellipsis button next to the Ribbon Groups Collection property. This will open another dialog window. In the new dialog window, we'll click the Add button to add a new ribbon group. Next, we'll select the ribbon group entry and set its caption to clipboard, its ID to clipboard, and its width to 200. Then we can click OK on both of the dialog windows to close them. In the XAML view of window1.xaml, we'll add a Tool horizontal wrap panel element to the clipboard ribbon group. Next, we'll add a button tool to the Tool horizontal wrap panel, and we'll set its caption to cut, its ID to cut tool, set ribbon group.maximum size to image and text large, set isQAT tool to true, set tooltip to cut, and set large image to images/editcut.png. Next, we'll add an event handler for the button tool's click event named buttontool_click. Let's add a second button tool, and we'll set its caption to copy, its ID to copy tool, its maximum size to image and text large, isQA tool to true, its tooltip to copy, and large image to images/editcopy.png. Then we'll add a third button, setting caption to paste, ID to paste tool, maximum size to image and text large, is QA common tool to true, tooltip to paste, and large image to images/edit paste.png. Our fourth button will have a caption of undo, ID of undo tool, maximum size of image and text large, is QAT common tool of true, we'll set tooltip to undo, and large image to images/edit undo.png. And our fifth and last button will have its caption set to redo, ID set to redo tool, maximum size set to image and text large, is QAT common tool set to true, tooltip set to redo, and large image set to images/edit redo.png. Then we can run the project. If we click on the Edit tab in the XAML ribbon, we should have 5 buttons corresponding to the buttons we added in our XAML. We'll be adding the functionality to these buttons in later labs. And that completes Task 3. Welcome to Task 4 of Exercise 1. In this task, we'll add the Grid Tools contextual menu to the XAML ribbon and set up the Reporting tab. Starting in Window 1.xaml, let's select XAML ribbon 1. In the Properties window, we're going to click the ellipsis button next to the Contextual Tab Groups collection. And in the new dialog window, we'll click the Add button to add a new contextual tab group object to the collection. In the Properties list, we'll set its caption to Grid Tools, its key to XDG Tools, and we'll set isVisible to true. Then moving down the Properties list, we'll click the ellipsis button next to the Tabs collection, and in the new Collection Editor dialog window, we'll click the Add button to add a ribbon tab item object to the collection. In the Properties list, we'll set the header property of the ribbon tab item to Reporting. Then we'll click the ellipsis button next to the Ribbon Groups collection property, which will open another dialog window. In this dialog window, we're going to click the Add button twice to add 2 ribbon group objects to the collection. Then let's select the first ribbon group entry and set its caption to Export and set its ID to Grid Export. Select the second ribbon group entry and we'll set caption to Print and ID to Grid Print. Then we'll click OK on every dialog window. Next, in the XAML view of Window 1.xaml, we'll add a button tool to the Export ribbon group and set its caption to Excel, its ID to Excel Export, its maximum size to image and text large, its large image to images/excel.png, and its tooltip to export to Excel. Then we'll add an event handler for the button tool object's click event named button tool_click. This is the same event handler we're using for all the button tools. Next, we'll add a second button tool to the Export ribbon group with its caption set to XPS, its ID set to XPS Export, its maximum size set to image and text large, its large image set to images/xps.png, and its tooltip set to export to XPS. Next, we'll add a new button tool to the Print ribbon group and set its caption to Print, set its ID to XPS Print, set maximum size to image and text large, set large image to images/print.png, and set tooltip to Print as XPS. Then we'll add a second button tool control to the Print ribbon group and we'll set its caption to Print Preview, its ID to XPS Print Preview, its maximum size to image and text large, its large image to images/printpreview.png, and its tooltip to Print Preview. And then we can run the project. If you click on the Grid Tools contextual menu, you should have 4 buttons in 2 groups. And that completes task 4. Welcome to task 5 of exercise 1. In this task, we're going to add tools to the XAML Ribbon Controls application menu. Starting in the XAML view of window1.xaml, we're going to set the application menu property of XAML Ribbon 1 to a new application menu object. Next, we'll set the image property of the application menu object to images/appmenu.png. Then we'll add a button tool to the application menu object and set its caption to _new, set ID to new button, set large image to images/new.png. When that's complete, we'll add an event handler for the button tool's click event named buttonTool_click. Next, we'll create a second button tool and set its caption to load layout, set its ID to load layout button, and set its large image to images/load.png. Our third button tool will have its caption set to save layout, its ID set to save layout button, and its large image set to images/save.png. Our fourth button will have its caption set to save layout as, its ID set to save layout as button, and its large image set to images/saveas.png. Next, we'll add a separator tool to the application menu. Under the separator tool, we'll add another button tool with its caption set to print, its ID set to print button, and its large image set to images/print.png. Then we'll add a second separator tool, and then we'll add our last button tool with its caption set to close, its ID set to close button, and its large image set to images/close.png. Next, we're going to add some XAML to set the application menu object's footer toolbar property to a new application menu footer toolbar object. Then we'll add a button tool control to the application menu footer toolbar object with its caption set to exit, its ID set to exit button, and its small image set to images/exit.png. Then we'll add an event handler for the button tool object's click event named buttonTool_click. When that's done, we can right-click on the event text and select Navigate to Event Handler in the context menu. This will take us to the code behind file and to the event handler method stub. In the button tool click event handler, we're going to add a switch statement to check the ID property of the button tool that was clicked. Next, we're going to add a case for the exit button, and we're going to close the application. We'll be adding more cases for the other buttons in later labs. And then we can run the project. Now, if you open the application menu, you should have 6 buttons and an exit button at the bottom right. And this completes task 5. Welcome to task 6. In this task, we're going to configure the Quick Access toolbar. Starting in the XAML view of window1.xaml, we're going to add some tags for the Quick Access toolbar property of XAML Ribbon 1, and we're going to add a new Quick Access toolbar object. Next, we'll add a QAT placeholder tool to the Quick Access toolbar and set its target ID property to undo tool. Then we'll add a second QAT placeholder tool and set its target ID property to redo tool. And then we can run the project. At the top of the XAM ribbon, you should see the Undo and Redo tools in the Quick Access toolbar. If you click the drop-down arrow on the right side of the Quick Access toolbar, you'll see a list of available tools that can be added or removed from the toolbar. These are all the button tools that had their IsQAT Common Tool property set to true. And this completes the XAM ribbon lab. For the XAM Outlook bar, the topics we'll be covering are the control structure and headered content controls. The XAM Outlook bar control is built to emulate the navigation bar found in Microsoft Outlook 2007. Just as Outlook 2007 separates email-related functionality from calendar-related functionality, you can organize your own application tasks into subsets of related tasks. The XAM Outlook bar is made up of groups, and each group is a headered content control that can host a diverse set of controls. And the XAM Outlook bar's collapsibility allows the user to maximize screen real estate. Groups in XAM Outlook bar are headered content controls that act as containers for content. You can display text and an image in an Outlook bar group's object header by setting its header property and large image property respectively. You can also set the Outlook bar group object's small image property to display an image when a group ends up in the overflow area. The XAM Outlook bar control automatically uses a default envelope image in the overflow area if you do not set the small image property. In addition to the properties already mentioned, other commonly used properties are the key property, which is an optional property that can be set to help you index into XAM Outlook bar's groups collection. If you set the key property, you must supply a unique value for each group. The isSelected property lets you select a group in XAML or in code. Only a single group can be selected at a time. The location property allows you to query the current location of a group. This is useful because at runtime, your end users can move groups to different locations. The XAM Outlook bar control and Outlook bar group headered content control are both equipped with Visual Studio Smart Tag support. By simply selecting the XAM Outlook bar in the XAML or Visual Studio Designer, a Smart Tag anchor appears. When you click this anchor, a pop-up panel appears, providing you with shortcut actions for adding content. And it's time for the second lab in this chapter, which covers the XAM Outlook bar. Welcome to the XAM Outlook bar lab. In this lab, we'll add the XAM Outlook bar control to the project and add some content to it using the XAM Month Calendar control and Microsoft's Tree View control. This video is for Task 1 of Exercise 1. In this task, we'll add the XAM Outlook bar control to the project and set up its groups. Starting in the XAML view of window1.xaml in Visual Studio, first thing we need to do is add a declaration for the Outlook bar namespace named IG Outlook bar. Next, beneath the ribbon property of the ribbon window content host, we'll add a grid element. Then we can select a new grid element, and in the Properties window, we'll click the ellipsis button next to the Column Definitions Collection property. In the Collection Editor dialog window, we'll click the Add button twice to add two column definition objects to the collection. Select the top column definition, and in the Properties list, we'll set its width property to Auto. For the second column definition, verify the width property is set to star. Then click OK to close the dialog window. Back in the XAML view of window1.xaml, we'll add a XAM Outlook bar control to the grid element. Then we can select the XAM Outlook bar control, and in the Properties window, set its name to XAM Outlook bar 1, set its theme to Office 2K7 Blue, and set its width to 300. Continuing in the Properties window, let's click the ellipsis button next to the Groups collection. Then in the Collection Editor dialog window, click the Add button 4 times to add 4 Outlook bar group objects to the collection. Next, we'll select the first Outlook bar group entry, and we'll set its header to labs, its large image to images/obarlabslarge.png, and its small image to images/obarlabs.png. For the second Outlook bar group entry, we'll set its header to calendar, its large image to obarcalendarlarge.png, and its small image to obarcalendar.png. For the third Outlook bar group entry, set its header to mail, its large image to obarmaillarge.png, and its small image to obarmail.png. For the last Outlook bar group entry, set its header to contacts, its large image to obarcontactslarge.png, and its small image to obarcontacts.png. Then we can click OK to close the dialog window and run the project. You should have a XAMPP Outlook bar control on the left side of the window with 4 groups in it. You can click a group to activate it. If you click the Configure Buttons button, you can see the various options available in the XAMPP Outlook bar. And this completes Task 1. Welcome to Task 2 of Exercise 1. In this task, we'll add content to the calendar and labs groups of the XAMPP Outlook bar control. Starting in the XAML view of window1.xaml, we'll add a tree view control to the labs Outlook bar group. Next, we'll select the tree view control and in the Properties window set its name property to lab tree. Back in the XAML view, we'll set the tree view control's item source property to a new binding with a source of static resource lab list and an XPath of labs/chapter. The labs list resource is in the provided XAMPP app resources file. Continuing in the XAML view, let's add a declaration for the Infragistics Editors XML namespace named IG Editors. Next, we'll add a XAMPP month calendar control to the calendar Outlook bar group. Select the XAMPP month calendar control, and in the Properties window, we'll set its name to XAMPP month calendar 1, day of week header format to abbreviated, disabled days of week to Saturday and Sunday, first day of week to Monday, max selected dates to 2, show leading and trailing date to true, and theme to Office 2K7 blue. Once that's complete, go ahead and run the project. The labs group should contain a list of chapters and labs in this course, and the calendar group should contain a XAMPP month calendar control. If you click on a month, the calendar will zoom out to a month view, a year view, and so on. And that completes the XAMPP Outlook Bar lab. For the XAMPP Doc Manager control, we'll cover how it allows for the return of the Multiple Document Interface, or MDI, which Microsoft stopped supporting with WPF. We'll also cover the various types of panes in the doc interface, the doc's capability of converting panes into floating windows, and the functionality of saving and loading state. XAMPP Doc Manager introduces a robust implementation of a multiple document interface known as MDI, and it presents these documents in tabs. Documents can be assigned to the document content host via XAML or programmatically. The method addDocument takes two parameters for setting the document header and its content. This XAML illustrates assigning two documents to the document content host declaratively. Documents can be docked or floating. This functionality can be locked or set to flexible, which allows the user to choose how the document should be viewed. If not locked, a floating window can be dragged into a docked state. Documents, which are called content panes, can be docked into the tab document pane or to the top, left, bottom, or right sides of the interface. Docked panes can be used for presenting toolbars, docked palettes, or a way to organize split views of documents. Docked panes can also be customized using the contextual menu shown in the screenshot. Split panes are used to separate and organize the various types of panes in a window. In the screenshot, the two tabbed documents on the left and the two tabbed palettes are both content panes and tab group panes. The document panes are part of the document content host area, which presents these two content panes as a multiple document interface. At the bottom is a single content pane and a docked bottom split pane. Clicking and dragging on a pane title bar allows the pane to be dragged out of the dock and into its own floating window. Choosing floating in the location menu will accomplish the same functionality. A split pane can also be set programmatically to begin as a floating window by setting the XAMPP Doc Manager attached property install location to dockable floating or floating only enumerated values. Floating windows which are not locked, which is the case when set to floating only, can be dragged back into the dock to become a docked pane again. Because users will expect a custom layout to be persisted, docking requires retaining state. XAMPP Doc Manager provides two methods, save layout and load layout, for saving and reloading state. Each method requires a file stream object. For save layout, the file stream object must have write access. Loading the layout at the appropriate time requires calling load layout in the initialize pane content event. And now it's time for the last lab of the chapter, which covers XAMPP Doc Manager. Welcome to the XAMPP Doc Manager lab. In this lab, we'll use the XAMPP Doc Manager control to set up the content browser in your project. This video is for task 1 of exercise 1. In this task, we'll add the XAMPP Doc Manager control to the project and do some basic configuration. Starting in the XAML view of window1.xaml, let's add a declaration statement for the Doc Manager XML namespace named IGDoc. Next, below the XAMPP Outlook Bar control in the XAML view, we'll add a XAMPP Doc Manager control. Then we can select the XAMPP Doc Manager control, and in the Properties window set its name to XAMPP Doc Manager 1, set its grid column to 1, set its Pane Navigator button display mode to Always, and set its theme to Office 2K7 Blue. Next, we'll add a document content host element to XAMPP Doc Manager 1, and inside the document content host element, we'll add a split pane element. Within the split pane, we'll add a tab group pane, and we'll set its name property to doc group. The design view of window1.xaml should now show the XAMPP Doc Manager control. And this completes Task 1. Welcome to Task 2 of Exercise 1 of the XAMPP Doc Manager Lab. And this task will add code to begin integrating the active tab group in the XAMPP Doc Manager with the visibility of the Grid Tools contextual menu. Starting in the XAML view of window1.xaml, let's add an event handler for the active document changed event of the document content host element in XAMPP Doc Manager 1. IntelliSense will name the event handler document content host _ active document changed. Next, let's right-click on the event text and select Navigate to Event Handler to go to the code behind file. At the top of the code behind file, add the Infragistics Windows Doc Manager and NAWPF Lab.ViewModel namespaces. Next, at the top of the Window1 class, add a private member named ViewModel of type MainWindowViewModel. Then in the constructor of the Window1 class, we're going to instantiate the provided MainWindowViewModel class stored in ViewModel and set the data context property of Window1. Next, in the active document changed event handler we just created, we're first going to retrieve the new active content pane. Then we'll add a switch statement to check the header property of the content pane. Then we'll add a default case in the switch statement that will hide the Grid Tools contextual tab and update the view model's grid and view property. This will hide the Grid Tools contextual tab in the XAMPP ribbon by default. Later we'll be adding cases to make it visible depending on what tab is selected in the Doc Manager. This completes Task 2. Welcome to Task 3 of Exercise 1 of the XAMPP Doc Manager Lab. In this task, we'll be adding code to add functionality to the layout items in the application menu. We're going to start in the code behind file of window1.xaml, and we're going to add two namespaces to the top of the file, System.io and Microsoft Win32. In the Window1 class, let's create a private method called SaveLayout. Then in the SaveLayout method, we're going to add a using statement to create a file stream object using the layout path property of our view model. Inside the using statement, we'll call the SaveLayout method of XAMPP Doc Manager 1, passing in the file stream object. Next, let's create another private method called SaveLayoutAs. To start this method, we'll configure a save file dialog object, show it, and check its result. Then inside the conditional statement for dialog result, we'll add the same code used to save the file in the SaveLayout method, except this time we're going to use the file name property of SaveFile instead of the layout path property of the view model. Lastly, within the conditional statement, we'll set the layout path property of the view model to the new file path. Next, we'll create a third private method called loadLayout. This method is going to show an open file dialog and called the loadLayout method of XAMPP Doc Manager 1 using the layout path property of the view model. Next, we'll move to the button tool click event handler and add three cases to the switch statement for SaveLayout button, SaveLayoutAs button, and loadLayout button. In these cases, we'll call the appropriate private methods. At this point, we've added functionality to save and load the layout of XAMPP Doc Manager 1. In the later labs, once we've added some content to XAMPP Doc Manager 1, you'll be able to save and load the layout. This completes the XAMPP Doc Manager Lab. In the XAMPP Tab Control section, we'll cover the various ways the XAMPP Tab Control extends the Microsoft Tab Control, including tab closing, tab layout, tab scrolling, and tab content minimization. The XAMPP Tab Control derives from the Tab Control class found in Microsoft Windows Presentation Foundation. Therefore, you can start using XAMPP Tab Control without having to learn a brand new object model. In addition to the functionality of the Windows Presentation Foundation Tab Control, XAMPP Tab Control exposes additional features, such as tab closing. When you enable this feature, your end users can close tabs by middle-clicking on a tab header or by clicking the Tabs Close button. Tab Layout lets you arrange the tab headers in a single row or multiple rows. Tab Scrolling allows you to display tab scroll buttons in the tab header area if the tab headers cannot fit into a single row into multiple rows without going beyond the bounds of your application. Tab Content Minimization lets your end users double-click a tab header to minimize its content. To enable tab closing, set the Allow Tab Closing property to True. Closed tabs are hidden but are still available in the control's items collection. Use the tabItemX.Closed event to manage closing and opening of the tabs. This event provides the necessary notification to manage closing, reopening, and/or removing tabs. Setting up a XAMPP tab control is as simple as setting up a regular WPF tab control. The ability to allow users to close tabs is set with a property, Tab Item Close Button Visibility. The tabItemX object provides the functionality of tab items with close buttons.